We have a major New York Jets free agency update, and this changes absolutely everything that we've known about the New York Jets approach to this offseason, and absolutely this is insane to look at, and we're going to break all of it down as we have a brand new update about the New York Jets in regards to their draft plans. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And if you guys are part of that 72% that is not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel out a ton. We're on that grind. You guys do not want to miss out. This is the most fun spot to watch any New York Jets content. But let's jump into the video because, well, Darren, Mougey, and the New York Jets have had a very precise plan to their free agency this offseason. They've gone for high potential guys. Throughout all of free agency, it's been mainly guys with higher potential, getting rid of veteran players and only making one signing of a guy who is over the age of 29, that being 30-year-old Josh Reynolds, who is an NFL veteran and has spent time with both Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey in his NFL career, and the Jets did decide to add a veteran there for that purpose. But outside of that, all the Jets moves have been targeted at young players who have a lot of potential to grow into much better players. For instance, some of them being Andre Cisco on that one-year prove-it deal, Brandon Stevens on his contract. It's been a lot of moves like that thus far, and now with the NFL draft coming up, it would be no surprise to see the Jets shoot for potential more than anything else, and we're sort of seeing that, but we also just have a shocking update in regards to the NFL draft, as it was revealed by Tony Pauline that the latest rumors in league circles say that the Jets will work the phones attempting to move down if Armand Membo is not available at 7th overall. Now, we know that Armand Membo is the favorite with the New York Jets right now. If you had to bet on it right now, you would bet that the Jets would be taking Armand Membo with the 7th overall pick. For the people down below who might be saying, no, they'd pick Tyler Warren. Look at the tight end issue. Look, the right tackle issue is also a very real thing. And when you look at the amount of money that tackles get paid in comparison to tight ends, you see which position is more important on the football field. It's having an offensive tackle, especially in regards to the fact that we know the Jets do want to see if Jeremy Ruckert and Stone Smart do have anything they could add to this team. So you look at that, you look at how everything fares out, and you could understand that, yes, the Jets are interested in Tyler Warren, but it does seem as if Armand Membo is the guy that they are showing a higher level of interest in, which does make sense if you ask me. Now, I do think the Jets would take Armand Membo. I do want the Jets to take Armand Membo. He's a very athletic offensive tackle who would do a phenomenal job fitting into this New York Jets system and would be the final piece to solidify a very young Jets offensive line whose oldest player would be 27-year-old John Simpson. Outside of that, your other guard, not Simpson, is Elijah Vera Tucker, who's been awesome as a guard when healthy. Joe Tippmann, who looks like the center of the future for the New York Jets. Olu Fashanu on the left tackle, and then right tackle being Armand Membo. That would be an offensive line that is impossible not to get excited by for the future and would also interest a lot of players on offense, specifically quarterbacks and running backs. Any backfield guy, it would be interesting to them because they would get to have an elite offensive line that's only getting better as time goes on. So this would be absolutely huge for the Jets to land Armand Membo, but there is the fear that maybe Membo goes higher because he is likely the highest touted prospect at that spot, at the good old offensive tackle spot. Membo is the number one guy now. Offensive tackle from LSU, Will Campbell is going to move to guard because his arms are quite short and they were measured as even shorter than expected at the NFL Draft Combine, leading to this guy, Armand Membo, being the real first tackle that would come off the board, as he will play tackle at the NFL level. And, well, it feels like the Jets are going to draft him. The Cleveland Browns are moving away from quarterback specifically. So that's one team that won't be drafting Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Jalen Milroe in that top echelon of the draft. Three guys who all have those green room invites and all could theoretically get picked high up, higher than their big board rankings, that is, as well. But Cam Ward will definitely not make it to the New York Jets. Some team will take a chance on him, whether it's the New York Giants, whether it's the Tennessee Titans first overall. I mean, both those teams might end up taking quarterbacks. There's still a real chance where the Giants do very well take Shadur Sanders. It feels a little less likely, but it feels like he'd be off the board. Same goes for all the Ashton Genty rumors. He'll be off the board as well for the New York Jets. So that leaves a few guys that or a few teams that could take Armand Membo, but the Jets do seem as if they are the favorites right now. As you can see, CBS Sports today predicted the Jets would be picking Armand Membo in their most recent mock draft, saying the Jets have high hopes for last year's first-round tackle Olu Fashanu as a dancing bear pass protector on the blind side. Here's a perfect opportunity to complete the bookend with a right tackle prospect who offers rare athleticism and a bully spirit in a 332-pound frame. And coincidentally, Aaron Glenn's first draft in Detroit began with the selection of an offensive tackle at 7th overall with Penei Sewell, who worked out phenomenally for the Lions, who's now Sewell's one of the best tackles in football, one of the best offensive linemen in general in football. So absolutely phenomenal pick right there. There is a world where the Jets will want to replicate that the way they've tried to replicate the Lions in a lot of ways and go with Armand Membo here. I would love that move. I think Membo is clearly the guy that you go with at this 7th overall slot. Again, I'm big on offensive lines. I think offensive lines are just so important. You don't see teams win Super Bowls with bad offensive lines. It doesn't happen. So build up those trenches like there's no tomorrow, and then you really got to move from there. Now, the other tackles on the board, say the Jets were to move down if Membo's not available. You got Josh Simmons as well, who, as mentioned by PFF, Simmons brings impressive flexibility, leverage, foot speed, balance, and hard work to the NFL at an adequate frame. He lacks a bit of power in the run game, but is coming off an ACL tear in 2024. But his movement skills and football intelligence make him worthy of a top 50 pick and to be a starter early on in his career. So the Jets, if they believe in a guy like Simmons, they could take him. But the fears about the run game would probably throw the Jets off, with Tanner Engstrand wanting to run a run-heavy offense. So I don't exactly know if that'd be the pick right there. There's also a real world where if the Jets trade down, they won't still go for OT in that first round and could move towards picking a tackle in the second round, something like that. While also there's a guy like Calvin Banks Jr., but the Jets have to be wary of how far they're moving down, because it is very, 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 very likely that Calvin Banks Jr. does become a Miami Dolphin, with the fact being that the Dolphins really, really want a very athletic offensive tackle. And as mentioned here, Banks is an NFL caliber athlete at the tackle position whose movement skills and run blocking gives him potential versatility. His lack of arm strength could hinder him at the offensive tackle, but he projects as an impact starter in the league as a tackle or a guard. With the Dolphins wanting to solidify that offensive line, Banks does feel like he'd be the likely choice for them. Now, it's not a guarantee, especially if Tyreek Hill gets traded. They will look towards the Ted McMillans and Luther Burdens of the world. If McMillan is still there, he might not be. He might go in the top 10, which would be reasonable. So there is that thought as well. Things just get very interesting for the Jets. And now also there is news of them talking to Derek Harmon as well. The Jets are meeting with Derek Harmon, who is someone who they have shown interest in. And now with Harmon being met with, if the Jets do trade down, this makes sense. His PFF rank is 30. So if the Jets move farther down in the draft and want to address that defensive end, or not to address the defensive end at their defensive line with the defensive tackle, that's not really a great way to say it, but essentially, if they want to go with Derek Harmon or something like that, they've clearly shown interest in him. And Harmon is just 1 year of notable production, but that season showcased a player with high football IQ, consistent competitiveness, and an NFL level quickness. He can be effective as a 3-technique defensive lineman for an even front. So would go next to Quinnen Williams right there. The Jets have shown a lot of interest in Mason Graham as well, who likely will not be on the board at 7th overall, but is someone who, if he was, the Jets would likely take him, because that would be a really surprising slip right there. And the Jets would likely try to address their offensive tackle spot later with a generational prospect in Graham just sitting there waiting in the wings to be taken. So the Jets do have a bunch of ways to go here. And one of the ways that they could also go with this is this guy right here in Jalen Milroe. If the Jets are looking to trade down because Membo's not there, we have seen consistent interest in that quarterback spot for the New York Jets. They've shown interest in quarterbacks. They've met with Jalen Milroe. They've talked to Milroe a good amount as well. So Milroe quickly becomes a guy who we could see the New York Jets really show a lot of interest in and really target in this draft, especially with Milroe getting invited to the green room. The NFL is not inviting a ton of people to the green room this year because they want to ensure that everyone there does get picked. They don't want anyone to leave the green room without an NFL team. So it sounds like within NFL circles, Jalen Milroe is going to be a first-round selection. I kind of imagine he's going to be. I mean, I know sometimes there's the first round where there's very few quarterbacks, for instance, the Kenny Pickett draft, but at the same time, You look at Jalen Milroe, you look at Shedeur Sanders, you look at Cam Ward. It does feel like all three of these guys, I mean, Ward and Sanders will certainly be first-round selections, and it does feel as if a team will take the shot on Milroe as well. Could it be the New York Jets? Maybe they decide to trade down. They really do like Jalen Milroe, and there hasn't been a ton of discussion after the fact that the Jets quarterback coach did spend time with Milroe, working with him, that Milroe did a pro day, all that stuff. When you look at all of it, it does make some sense that the Jets maybe, like what Darren Mougey did with the Denver Broncos, maybe they're trying to hide their interest in Jalen Milroe. Maybe they see something. They see that he can be a franchise quarterback, and because of that, they want to work on it, but they don't want teams to know that that's their plan. Maybe the Jets, maybe they're actually interested in Membo, which they definitely are, but they might be using a series of smoke screens here, and somewhere along the way, they find themselves trading down to that 15th spot, specifically with the Cardinals. Not the Cardinals, the Falcons. Got my birds mixed up with the Falcons, because the Falcons do want to jump up and take Jalen Walker, someone who has been mocked recently to the Dallas Cowboys as well, because of the fact that Micah Parsons does have a contract extension upcoming. So some are believing that maybe they try to reset a contract by getting Jalen, by using Jalen Walker in that situation. And the Cardinals, they need edge rush help, and there's a few teams in their division that also do, that have higher picks than them. So basically the Falcons, I called them the Cardinals. I might have called them the Cardinals again. I honestly don't remember. But essentially the Falcons, they do need edge rushing help, and there's teams in their division that have higher picks than them, so they do want to take that leap. If the Jets see Milroe there at 15th, there's easily a world where they've been in on Milroe, got some extra draft capital, may have gotten Kyle Pitts in the process, and also land Jalen Milroe to add a real spark to this offense. So it'll be interesting to see, guys, and I'm very excited to see how this NFL draft goes. I think the Jets will do something pretty interesting. I mean, Milroe, a very good rusher for his career at college. Last year at 168 attempts, got 726 yards out of it. On top of that, has been a successful passer as well in his college career, showing that he got 2,844 yards with 16 touchdowns. A year prior, he threw for 23 touchdowns. So 2 great years from Jalen Milroe as a starter at Alabama. Things are looking very interesting for this NFL draft, and I cannot wait. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.